In that case, I have a few questions I can answer. Do we have any others from online?
Yes, there's one from Lisa who asked this before you gave this teaching, but asks if these higher beings on Earth are real, star seeds, so to speak, and says, I've been told that I am an Earth angel, a Lumerian star seed, a Venusian or old soul, but not sure if it's just a story, a creation versus the truth of the 0 point.
The only way you can be sure is break free of your ego and return to the light. And if you're able to do that, then it's true. Proof is in the pudding, as they used to say. Okay, there's only 3 questions, so this shouldn't take too long. And then if anyone else here does come up with something you'd like to add to the conversation, please feel free. During this time of Easter, I must think about leaving darkness behind. Yes, in the many forms it comes, and that is difficult to face lately. As I feel more close to my real self, overseeing and recognizing the ego mind with its tricks, I can't help to be more distant to others, as if I recognize their ego traps and falls, but it's hard to relate to them. Myself am fine with this, I think, but I feel people find me difficult to read, to follow, as I'm maybe not predictable, following the ego no longer, or most of the time, he adds. I feel strongly that I'm at the bottom of the curve, knowing that at the top of the curve is bliss. I'm totally convinced. 2 questions. Is it normal, the feeling of being more detached from other people's lives? And second, going to a downward curve first before climbing out? Okay, very interesting question, because it fits what Yogiraj was just mentioning. Indeed, you will become ever more different from the people around you who are still asleep once you awaken to all of this. And your triple ignorance lifts. You will become so very different that you will be related to as almost an alien, but hopefully you will have gone through the downward part of the curve, which is, you could say, the dark night of the soul that you have to go through in order to get illumination. And the only way you get through it is through the absolute sacrifice of the ego, starting with the inner child and then the superego overlords who were installed by the aliens. And that structure of ego was artificially designed. And if you do that, then you will reach divinization, and those others then will actually look up to you and will be able to be helped to also ascend into higher consciousness. So don't care what others think of you. Care only about your relationship to the God self. And then everything will be taken care of as a result of that ascension and transformation. And that's the only priority now for every being who wishes to be liberated before the end and to help in the triumph of the God self. So I hope that answers your question. What are your thoughts on the sacrifice of the red heifer in Israel, overlooking and overtaking the Dome of the Rock? Well, I think the red heifer at this point is a red herring, because I don't think they can do it. They don't have the credibility. They haven't built an altar in that site where it would have to be built, and they don't have credible high priests, etc. However, if the Elohim reveal themselves, they were the ones who installed the initial set of Levites and Kohanim, etc., and they could, in fact, install a new generation of priesthood, because they would have enormous power of a military, political, and psychological kind, then at that point, that could be done. But whether that would be something that would be even interesting to them, I think is, very, very dubious. So I tend to think that that's one of those false clues that take people on the wrong concerns. That's not really, I don't think, a major obstacle. But he also then says, but what about the activation of the CERN Hadron Collider during the solar eclipse? And as I said, yes, I think that, at least as an excuse, could be something of great magnitude in how they turn that into a reason to justify an invasion and blame humans for having allowed it to happen. And then the last question here is the lotus throne located in the 0 point? No, not exactly. The lotus throne is gained when an energy field of love between truth and beauty has been established internally and with the Supreme Being, the soul and God. Soul as Shakti and God as Shiva, and the soul is raised back to the lotus throne. So it's in that level where Shakti and Shiva again unite in love, but the final stage is Paramashiva, the ultimate self, the absolute self, bringing them, or bringing that being or those beings who have achieved lotus throne level of consciousness back into the singularity, but to then come out on the other side in the next Sat Yuga. So it's the penultimate state, not the ultimate.